Okay, so the healers on this fight seems to be doing it they're running with the rest of the melee. So they're not doing it the way that I did it on one. This strategy could also work. So there's two ways to coordinate the healers. One is with the melee groups, and one is with like a squared formation where the healers are going every boss and not going to the safe spot. But again, this is something we'll practice before we go in and do the fight. So we're running in there. At this point, you gotta see that the 1 second to the meteor. Now you gotta make a decision. Are you gonna try to get to the boss, or are you gonna stay out here? Because like your option is you can go and help share the damage, but you could also risk that when you move up there, that the meteor simply lands on you before you even get there, and that kills you. So this is like you need to pay attention to the meteor timer, and you need to actually move with your group. You cannot straggle behind and not catch up later, because they're gonna need you to soak there, and you're gonna need to be in close range of them. The range of the meteor is about 20 yards. Healers can stand out of range of the meteor. They can also run in and help soak the damage, um, depending on what they're being advised to do by their class leader. It means they'll have to spend a little bit more time running if they want to soak damage. And yeah, I don't know what the healer class leader will recommend. See, that was close, but he made it. So one reason why we do like they did, if the 3 marks run in and taunt happens 4th mark. I think we should just talk about this when we get to 4 horsemen on release. I don't want to try to figure all the stuff out like here right now. Um, it's either 2 or 3, and Upis I think said 3, so I think that's what we're going. Okay, so another thing is that the reason why you would have all your DPS going back and forth, like between these two bosses, is that if you get these out of the way early, then you free up 4 tanks to then be backup tanks down here. Which means basically that once these two are dead, the fight is over, because now you have plenty of spare tanks in case something goes bad down here. So maybe we'll do this. I don't know. So now CO down here. So these are void zones called. They spawn on random players here. So when you're healing down in this corner, or if you're tanking down in this corner, keep an eye out on the floor, or you're gonna die very quickly. This is also gonna be a reason why we're gonna wipe, is that the healers down here are standing in a void zone and they're dying, and then there's nobody to heal the tank, and he's dying. Then the boss will start to run to someone else who was now at a safe spot, and he break the safe spot, and everybody dies. So a lot of people can pretty much cause a wipe by just, you know, being at a wrong spot at the wrong time. It becomes a big snowball effect. That's why it took 10 wipes for them to get this far. Do they stay up the whole fight? No, they don't. They last about 40 seconds. And they go up every like 7 seconds. It makes it a little bit more tricky for the tank, right? Because as we see here, right, if he moves the boss, actually this one down here, if he moves the boss, if he tries to avoid a void zone and brings the boss this way, then he could break the safe spot. So what he would try to do is bring the boss close when he's avoiding. That's his best option. A lot of running back and forth on this fight. And even though there are only 2 bosses left, the stacks that you're gonna get um, still gonna rise up, right? So even if there's only 2 bosses left, you're still gonna be spending just as much time as at the safe spot. So once the 2 bosses are dead, it feels a lot easier, um, but it's pretty slow process. That's it. That's for Horsemen. Oh yeah, so over here, when you get to this part of the fight where those 2 bosses are the only ones left, then you also have a lot of melee DPS running in and starts attacking Zeliek down here. And what you need to know here is that he has like the like the Sethune beam, the green beam. Imagine Sethune has the green beam, but it will only target players in melee range, and it deals holy damage. That is what Zeliek does. He has like the chain ability that deals holy damage, and it deals more damage with every jump. The Sethune green beam but deals holy damage, and it will hit his melee target and jump from there. Don't stand close to anybody when you're down here. Then you're fine. And as melee, there simply cannot be that many melee on him at the same time, because you're gonna die. Then there was a question, something about aggro reset. Anybody has a question?
Yeah. Who is recommended to wear the fire resist? Is it everybody to wear just a little bit for the meteors, or is it just the tanks that are dedicated to that corner?
Well, it's the tank, the 4. Look, up here, there are 4 tanks covering this area up here. The fire resistance for them is pretty much mandatory, I would say. They need to have, I don't know. It's not like tanking Ragnaros, but it's gonna help you out.
Right.
So
Wear your big ticket items.
yeah, so if you got some really good quality epic fire resistant stuff, then use that. But yeah, by this time you maybe even have some tier 3 pieces, so you also want to consider what kind of set bonus you have to give up. And for everybody else up here, again, for progression, I say why not? Why not wear some fire resistant? Like obviously not green gear shit. You need stamina also to survive the meteor. But basically, just make sure that you have enough health and resistances so that you survive long enough to actually get practice in. That I would say is the most important thing. Then once you look around you, people aren't really dying left and right anymore. Then you can start to downscale the resistance and see like when do you start to feel like you're not comfortable anymore giving up resistance. But then DPS keeps building threat. No, I believe there's a threat reduction with every new stack of marks. That's why the threat doesn't get like insanely high. Like everybody, um, every what is it, 12 seconds, there's a new mark. Even if you don't get the mark, there's just a global threat reduction from everybody every 12 seconds. I believe not 100%, but I'm pretty sure that's the case because otherwise you have a like absurd, like threat. I don't know what the fuck is going on. So okay, so one more tip on the tanking situation is that okay, so let's say that you're the tank assigned to come and replace this guy. He's the tank, and you're the tank that's gonna replace him. So you're gonna go up and you're using taunt, and then you're gonna taunt resist. Then he sees that he's still got the aggro, so he doesn't do anything. He just waits. Then you do a mocking blow, and then he sees, oh, the boss is targeting you. Good. Now my job's done. I'm going to the safe spot. But of course, mocking blow is not the same like mechanic as taunt. Mocking blow does not transfer threat. It only takes the threat temporarily. So what happens is this guy runs to the safe spot, and then when mocking blow runs out, then the boss goes to the safe spot. So this is also something that we will wipe to, is tanks not realizing that mocking blow is not a taunt. Figured I wanted to mention it.
Could you use that as a buffer? So say you taunt, it gets resisted, you call it out, and you wait 4 seconds after taunt, you mocking blow, they go into position, and then you can get the second taunt before he goes.
I mean, sure. I mean, actually, it's a risk, right? You could get a second resist, and then he's halfway thinking that he's got. But so yeah, Prophet
when you
says
get the
the
first
answer is
resist,
no.
you're fucked anyway.
Well, not necessarily. Like as a tank, you can get more than 2 or 3 stacks, right? I mean, as a tank, you have so much health, and you have assigned healers to you. You can take more, and you do have shield wall, and you do have last stand. So for those kind of oh fuck moments where the taunts just seem to be resisted, you have ways to survive it without having to run to the safe spot. But also, we've been running Sulgurup 1,000 times and killed the fish boss in order to get the goddamn trinket that gives what is it, 10% chance to hit the spells.
Yep.
And so this is the trinket that all the tanks are going to be using on this fight, so that they reduce the resistance chance on their taunt. That's the whole point of them getting this trinket and having us make sure that they're getting it. It's because it's for this particular encounter. I believe the trinket has like a 90 seconds cooldown or 2-minute cooldown. That's roughly as often as you're going to be taunting on this fight, anyways. So
Perfect.
it sort of works out. Yeah, I think that's all I want to say about Horsemen. The rest will just come down to practice and